Yeah, we ought to revitalize, and we need to mobilize our small town and our rural congregation. Now, there are times when a church dies, and I understand that. But I think a lot of our churches, we close them prematurely. No place is too small for God to do something big. And the biggest thing is a life transformed, a life changed. I remember back in the very early days, I thought, let's do something, to reach the community. So I thought, let's have a bring your friend and neighbor to church Sunday. And we had this little house on the prairie kind of church, and it wouldn't really fit their friends and neighbors. So what we thought was, let's rent out the high school. And so we sent out a mailing to everybody in the whole community. The cool thing about living in a small town, you can mail to everybody and still have money left over in your bank. And so we sent it to everybody. And it was a big day. I mean, this was like the biggest day. I was so excited, pumped up, ready to go. I worked on my sermon really hard. I polished that baby, ready to just preach it. And on Saturday night, God changed my sermon. Has that ever happened to any of you pastors? God changed your sermon on Saturday night? Really, you did? Yeah. You weren't listening to him earlier in the week either? There's a big difference between preaching a sermon and delivering a message. Because, when you just preach a sermon, they may not hear from the Lord. But when you deliver his message, they're guaranteed to hear from him. And our job is not to preach sermons, it's to deliver messages. And so God changed the sermon, changed it to his message. It was Isaiah chapter 40. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength, and they shall mount up with wings as eagles. And I know homiletically it was a crummy sermon, but I just gave it my best shot. The place packed out. Right before the sermon, one of my board members came up to me. Said, "Oh, Pastor, we've got a problem. We've got a big problem." I said, "What is it?" "Andie Whitwer's here." And I said, "Well, what's the problem with that?" "Well, she's a school board member, and she's an atheist. And there's only one reason why she's here. Church and state stuff. She's here to shut us down." Now, that wasn't the reason why Andie showed up. You know why she came? Because a little 12-year-old boy named Cody invited her to come. And she had some issues in her life that she was struggling through. And when he invited her, she said, "Yeah, I think I'll give that a try." And she really wasn't an atheist either. That person just thought she was. Sometimes we label people and then we discount them.